Okay, a lot of talk about this video. Deontay Wilder posted a clip where he's on the pads with his friend and one of his trainers now, Malik Scott. I know Malik Scott has been friends with Deontay Wilder for a long time and he's been in his camp for quite a long time, but I think he appears to be taking a more prominent role now that Mark Breland has gone. And by the way, Mark Breland is now with one of the Charlos, which is an interesting move. And I'm saying an interesting move by the Charlos, not necessarily an interesting move by Mark Breland. But anyway, this video with Wilder hitting the pads, Malik Scott trying to show him a thing or two. Wilder looks like he's trying to improve. That's what I will say. In this video, he's moving his upper body more, and not just moving his upper body in terms of not presenting a stationary target for his opponent, but also moving his upper body to try and get different angles, try and see different looks. See, when you are standing completely straight, you're not moving your upper body. You're not changing your height as well. You're not bending at the waist. You're only seeing one angle of your opponent. And, another thing as well, which moving your head can do, is your opponent is not sure where your head's going to be, of course, so makes it more difficult for them to pin you down, to know where to aim their punch. But at the same time, they're also wondering what you're doing and where you're going to aim your punch. Whereas when you're stood straight up, you can at times become more predictable. Whereas if you're moving your upper body left and right, they're not sure. Is he going to throw a left hook? Is he going to throw a jab? Is he going to throw a right hand up top? Is he going to throw it down? It just makes your opponent question what your next move is going to be all the more when your upper body is moving around like that. So that's a good development if Wilder can keep on doing that. They're trying to keep his punches tight and neat, nothing wild. Obviously, Deontay being a very emotional character, he tends to get wild when he's hurt you. He's very excitable, Deontay Wilder. But when he's calm like this and he's hitting the pads, for many years we've seen him throw good quality punches in training. So what we want to see, of course, is this translated into his next fight, whoever it's going to be against. Now, I've long been a critic of Deontay Wilder in terms of the stuff that he says, in terms of his resume, but Deontay Wilder, the fighter, I've always said is very exciting. And he's a very good fighter, a dangerous fighter, a tremendous puncher. And even though I definitely have more than had enough of Deontay Wilder talking rubbish, I still want to see him fight. I like seeing him fight. I think he's a very exciting addition to the heavyweight division. He must be, 35, 36 now? He can't have too much longer in the game. So let's see him go out. Let's see him make an attempt to go out in a blaze of glory. It could be entertaining, and maybe he's still got some big wins in him. I certainly wouldn't write him off, but he's definitely got a lot to prove at this stage in terms of where he's at mentally, if he can make the right adjustments technically, because when you look at his response to the Tyson Fury loss, it's not exactly promising. He doesn't seem to be in a good place mentally, blaming every single person and every single thing other than himself. But, maybe he privately has come to terms with that loss more so than he lets on publicly. Maybe privately he understands he needs to make improvements and adjustments so that something like that is less likely to happen to him again. So let's see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Were you impressed by this clip of Deontay Wilder hitting the pads? Again, to me, he looks like he's trying to make improvements. More upper body movement. He always used to move his upper body a little bit, but here it seems like there's more emphasis on it. Now, Malik Scott was always a very slick fighter himself. So naturally, he's going to be able to impart some of his knowledge into Deontay as far as what he used to do and why it used to work for him. Again, it's quite interesting, of course, because they did fight each other and Deontay stopped Malik Scott in 1 round. So in Deontay's mind, why would he really even listen to Malik? I guess it's almost the whole surrounding himself with yes men business all over again, isn't it? This is the guy who he's got in as his trainer, his co-trainer, and it's somebody that he knocked out before. It's not like with Derek Chisora and David Haye. Derek Chisora hired a manager who knocked him out. You understand? If somebody's knocked you out, then, well, maybe they can teach me something. But if it's a guy that you've knocked out in 1 round, the attitude, particularly a guy like Deontay Wilder, the attitude may be, well, what can you really teach me? Now, look, maybe there are things that Malik Scott can teach him, but I'm just talking about what Deontay's mindset is going to be like. Is it just a case of him trying to surround himself with yes men, trying to surround himself with people who look up to him, fear him, and all this kind of thing? Because Mark Breland said that a lot of the people in the gym did fear Wilder because he was a very moody character, volatile. So anyway, like I say, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide range of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&A sessions, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got a Discord server where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. There's no contract, no commitment, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.